Are you ready for the really crazy serious stuff? Like the really important things? Okay, this is where we're gonna be doing some shooting. It's gonna go over this segment to the next segment, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. What you should do right now is clear your minds completely of anything that's like, could be clouding whatever previous, negative experiences you've had with all this. Also clear your mind of when I say something like the inverse square law of light and all this stupid stuff. Don't worry about the names, just worry about what I'm going to say and how the light behaves, okay? There are some people watching that are very technical, and that's gonna appeal to them. I'm going to approach it in a more visual way, okay? There are basically 5 light behaviors you really need to know. If you know these 5, you're on fuego. Fuego, Spanish for fire. Shh, dragon, okay? Here are the 5 things. You need to know the angle of incidence behavior. Have you guys heard of the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection? Okay, totally boring name for a very simple concept. We'll discuss it, okay? The second one is you need to know the inverse square law of light. Incredibly important, but no more or less important than the other 4. They're all equally important. The third one is the relative size behavior. This is the one responsible for most people's problems in lighting. It's the third one. The fourth one is the color behavior, how light absorbs color and bounces color back. Because how many of you, raise your hands if you do this, how many of you shoot your subjects, we go to the park and we shoot them at the park? Or everybody, right? I mean, including me. What happens at the park?
Green grass.
Green grass. Why do we never worry about that green grass? Have you ever noticed if you put your camera on auto white balance and you're shooting green, especially if the light's not that great, like if the light's a little low and you're trying to raise your ISO, it will make you look green-blue awful. It's like the worst combination you can have. Green, the auto white balance is trying to react to all the green casted on your face. That's why I don't understand why we do so much on grass. It's like green, it's not good. And then the last one is the reflective behavior. So that just, we'll discuss that, but that just means how light reflects on different surfaces, okay? Okay. Amanda W. Hi everybody, this is Amanda W. She's gonna be helping us with behaviors of light. Yay for Amanda W. Whoop, whoop. What's up? Good?
Yeah.
All right. Ready for angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection?
Definitely.
Are you totally pumped up right now? Okay. Take a look at the screen. Take a look at the screen there for a second, and we're going to replicate this, okay? Can you stand right here? Right there? And face that wall. I know the cameras don't see you, but that's okay. Check this out. Here's the angle of incidence, what you need to know. The name sounds scientific. Don't worry about it. Whenever you have a surface like this, the sun is here or whatever, or if you're using a flash or a strobe or whatever, let's just say the strobe is positioned here, okay? The angle of incidence just means the angle in which the light hits the surface, okay? So if I have a very sharp angle like this, and I shoot my flash towards a wall or any reflective surface, it's going to hit, pretend this is like a ray of light, okay? The light's gonna fire, it's going to shoot, and it's going to hit here. Then it's going to basically replicate that angle this way on the way out. That's it. Is that super complicated? That's it. So the sun at 12 o'clock is upstairs, right? The sun comes down, hits the ground, and then it goes right back up. It doesn't go left, it doesn't go right. It just goes straight up. Now, if there's a cloud, the sun gets thrown, the light rays get thrown all over the place, so the light is bouncing in every direction. But every ray of light, you know when people say light wraps? Like, oh, I love the way this light wraps. Light never wraps. Light doesn't go, woo, I'm prepping. I mean, it's a good term if you're just trying to say it covers the shadow area, but it confuses when you're trying to understand the behavior of light. Remember this, light never wraps. It doesn't bend, it doesn't go for a spin, it doesn't go to the playground, it just bounces. That's it. So, a lot of times we're shooting our subjects, fashion models, high school seniors, brides, whatever. I see people do this. This is the awesomest thing ever. I see the model there, Amanda W. They put the light this way, and they fire against this wall, and then you can see the hot spot here, and then this reflects this way, the exact same angle it came from. So if it comes from this angle, it's gonna go out that angle, because the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. Well, then they look at their camera, they're like, she's still dark. Yes, that's because you're missing her completely. Does that make sense? The main source of the light, the power of the rays of light, maybe 5 or 6 hit her face, but 99% of the rays went for a picnic elsewhere. You know, they got a piña colada. The other one is you have the light this way. If you want to illuminate her, you put the light this way, and you have to estimate what is the angle that's going to hit Amanda W, right? So you shoot her this way, hit, replicate that angle, and you realize you're still missing her. So then you turn up your flash at higher power. You're like, no, I need more power. It's not going to help you. It's just more light rays going for a picnic instead of less light rays going for a picnic. So now you do this. You want her to get illuminated by the light. Put your imagination or stick or whatever you have and point it at the wall. And then this is where the light should come from, this way. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's see, Amanda, can you face the other way now? Okay, go ahead and cross your legs. This is not a posing class, but it's okay. Just cross your legs. I just have to do it. It's like engraved in my head. Go ahead and tilt your head down a little bit. Actually, grab from your waist, just tilt down towards the floor. That's good. Now grab your chin and bring it up again. That's good. Now just tilt your head to one way or the other. I don't care. That's good. Okay, if I'm pointing a flash, let's say you're in Seattle and you're in Germany, or you have no light because it's depressing, right? And then you put let me see, where's the reflector at? If you can control the light, you don't have to prop up the reflector because you can control the angle. Does that make sense? So if this is your flash, you have your flash here. You have your flash, you angle it towards this, and then you mirror that angle and you hit her right in the face. If she stands totally straight, it's going to be fine. You're going to be probably getting a little bit of darkness in the eyes. By a simple tilt, that's all you need, right? Well, maybe too much. That's it. A simple tilt like that makes the angle hit her eyes directly. Does that make sense? So if you don't have speed lights or ice lights or any of this stuff, if you're working with the sun, you do have to prop up the flash because you have to change the angle of reflection. But if you have this, you can create the angle of reflection yourself because you can choose the angle of incidence. Any questions on that? Is that super simple to understand? Let's see how simple this is. Crisanta, let's look. Go ahead and turn around again real quick. Amanda W. Crisanta, if I wanted to illuminate her and I point my light this way, would that be a successful illumination? Awesome. What if I point my light directly down to the floor? No. What if I bring Amanda W's face all the way forward? Go ahead and lean forward. And then I illuminate her face this way. Would I get her face?
You're pointing at the floor?
Yep, so it's going boom, and then it's going to bounce up and hit her there. It will, right? You just keep this in mind, and you don't overcomplicate this concept. and you have amazing things happening for you, okay? If you have, let's take a look at this. Let me look at, you can turn around if you want, that's fine, sorry. Take a look at the screen for a second. This is what we're trying to do, okay? When the light is horizontal, you hit here and then you hit here. What is this point? That is the brightest point that the light is hitting. So for example, if you look at Creative Live Studios, you see how that's the brightest point on the wall and it gets darker and darker as you go? That means that the light's coming from here, so check the angle out. This is the angle. Angle's here, it's shooting against that wall. So if you're shooting Amanda W, sorry guys, don't kill me, sorry cameras, sorry. This is gonna go this way, it's gonna hit right here at this angle, right? And you're going to duplicate it to this angle. If you wanna put Amanda in a beautiful place, put her here. Don't put her there, don't put her there. You're getting the wrong angle. That's why this is really important. You're maximizing the light, okay? Any questions on that? Totally simple, right? Okay, good. What's the problem with this setup? You're missing the person. Let me ask you guys, be honest with me. I wasn't planning on doing this, but how many times do you think about the angle that the light is hitting the surface from? How many times? Do you just kind of like take it for granted? Mm-hmm. Right. And this is the crazy part for me, because if you had a light meter, not that I'm saying go like you need it, but it's good to have. If you have a light meter, you can actually measure where the angle of reflection is actually at its maximum point. And if you do that, your photography will take a higher level without having to bring 10 people with you, because you're maximizing what the location is giving you. But you gotta keep in mind those angles. Those angles cannot be taken for granted. If you walk into this studio here, I know that the ultimate place to put Amanda W is where that wheel is right there, that wheel of the tripod. Because it's gonna hit her there, and then it's gonna bounce light back. And if I wanna create awesome lighting on her, I can put a flash on that wall, reflect the flash on the wall, hit her on one side, and I can create one side brighter than the other, and it's gonna be the perfect angle because I know exactly where the light's gonna bounce from. That's all you need to remember. That is, don't take it for granted. The angle that the light comes and hits a subject, a surface, is the same angle as the way it's gonna leave. So that's it for that. Yes, Kenneth.
I have a question from ASP who's asking if you use like a flash bender or other diffusers, where are you considering that angle of light to be?
If you what?
If you're using something that's diffusing the light or like a flash bendy thing, and you're pointing, say, oh, this is on a speed light, he's asking, and we're talking about the
angle.
If
it's not a speed light?
Angle of light. So where is, if there is something diffusing the light,
yeah.
What is the angle of incidence? Sorry.
Okay. It's actually a great question because a lot of times when people are in cloudy weather, they say the light is even. It's never even. The sun is always somewhere, right? So when the sun hits the cloud, it diffuses the light in a million places, but there is a specific angle that the light is coming from that's gonna give you more power than other angles, right? If you're using a flash directly, then all those rays are gonna come out, hit a surface, and then bounce the other way. But if you diffuse that flash, you're just spreading the angles into many different directions. But the flash is still coming from one direction. The flash is still coming from here, even though you're illuminating a bunch of her face. There's still a point that's receiving the highest amount of light than other parts of her face. So it's a good question because if you do diffuse the light, you're adding angles to the light, but you're not changing the direction of the light. So this angle thing still applies 100%. It's just less intrusive if you make a mistake. It's more forgiving, okay? Yeah.
So you had said you'd put Amanda right here, but I'm still confused. What's the difference between putting her there and here when you have this large window in front of us?
Because this is flat light, and if I put her there, that wall could be a huge softbox, a small softbox, a medium softbox. My options here are 10 times more than my options here. If I put you here, you just have nice flat face, and you look great. But if I photograph Amanda there and I bounce a flash against that wall, I can make her look however I want. So it just gives you, it's photographing with skill. It's like, I'm going to do it this way, and I want the shape to look this way. That's why you do it.